Hey there, I'm Adrian Franklin with Ticker News Live. I've got the latest breaking news and trending stories on business, tech and media. But first, our top story. Around 500 supermarket stores in Sweden will be closing up shop due to an ongoing cyber attack. Coop Sweden has closed half of its 800 stores after its point-of-sale tills and self-service checkouts stopped working just before the weekend. The supermarket joins many organisations affected by an attack on a large software supplier that the company uses. Cyber researchers say about 200 businesses have been hit by this colossal ransomware attack, which had mainly impacted the US. US cybersecurity authorities believe the Russia-linked Revel ransomware gang is responsible. And for more on the spate of major cyber attacks and what governments and corporations alike can be doing to better protect ourselves and themselves, let's bring in Peter Koronios, International Vice President of the Cybersecurity Advisors Network. Welcome to Ticker News today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So what do you make of the weekend's ransomware attack? How is this one perhaps different to some we've been seeing recently?
Well, unfortunately, it's starting to become a bit of a trend, in fact, that they're going after some of the cybersecurity suppliers themselves, which is, I think, a new sort of chapter in the ongoing saga of cybersecurity problems that we've been increasingly facing over the last couple of decades. So in this case, the particular managed service provider was called Kasaya. They provide a network monitoring tool, and so businesses legitimately would be using this tool to help keep their networks safer. But of course, what happened was that the attackers behind this compromise have actually hijacked that protection software, ironically using it to gain access to over 200 organizations in the US and, as you pointed out, the Swedish supermarket chain Co-op. So the result of that is that you've now got malware invading infrastructure laterally. It's moving sideways through networks, and very, very hard to eradicate this stuff once it's in there as well. So the other thing that struck me was that they chose the 4th of July weekend. This is something that hackers have been doing, increasingly over the years. They pick the holiday period. They pick the time when the IT support staff are on leave or taking fewer hours, and they're using that opportunistically to gain an upper hand so that the ability to get back online quicker has been hampered.
So there were about over 1,000 businesses impacted by this attack. So what can businesses do to better protect themselves and not be one of the number 1,000 that we've just mentioned?
Yes, so this is really the question to ask. Look, cybersecurity is very complex, and I don't think we can point to any one single measure that organisations should take. In Australia, we've got excellent resources through the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, based in Canberra. It's a government organisation. They have advisories. There will be one out there right now on this particular attack. Generally speaking, you want to make sure that you've got proper management of people, processes and technology, so that you only have limited access to the people that need it, that are controlling the network. You need to have user behavioural change programs in place so that your employees are not the weak link in the chain. And of course, you need all the standard and rapidly evolving security software, the monitoring software. But of course, as we saw in this attack, you can't rely on this aspect entirely to be sure that you're going to be safe. So short point is, it's a multi-layered approach. The attackers only have to get in once. And so you really, it's this idea of continual vigilance. Effectively, we're on a quasi conflict situation. The government in the US has sort of intimated that it could be the Russians behind this. A bigger question that emerged at the G7 a couple of weekends ago was whether governments themselves should be doing more to tackle the cyber criminals that are operating within their own borders. And so this is going to be a very big topic for discussion, and as to whether or not we're going to see progress in this domain remains to be seen. But I really think to cap off what individual companies can be doing, we really need to be seeing much more intergovernmental cooperation so that we can tackle this as a global community.
And just finally on that, US President Joe Biden recently signed an executive order to confront these attacks in the future.
Right.
Just briefly to finish, does it go far enough, do you think?
Look, it's a first step. I don't think there's anyone that's saying that this is the end game here. But I really think putting this on the agenda, and certainly the G7 has done that, G8 has done it, the OECD has done it, the World Economic Forum, are all acknowledging that this has to be tackled as a global phenomenon.
Great to chat again, Peter. How can we learn a bit more about the work you're up to?
Cybersecurity Advisors Network, if you can go to cyan.network, you can look at some of the advisories, the guidance that we're giving at the moment to help businesses stay more secure.
Thanks for your time once again. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Adrian. Look forward to it.